Good evening, everyone. Here's the game that I had recently against Smokey Beers. Um, Clever little name there. He had the white pieces, I had the black pieces, as you can see here. And let's see how he started out here. He started out with C4, which I didn't care much for, but I decided to go ahead with my normal development and played E5. He followed through with G3, intending to finagle his bishop here. And I played knight to f6, continuing my development. He played bishop to g2 and finagled his bishop. And I played knight to c6, continuing with my development, and he played pawn to d3. And I followed through with bishop to c5, bringing out my king's bishop and bearing down on his weak king bishop's pawn. And he followed through with knight to f6, continuing his development, and I played d6, pawn to d6, to open up for my bishop to come out. And he followed through with castling, which is fine. He's already castled within actually 6 moves. And I decided to go ahead and continue with bishop to e6, bringing my bishop out and giving him some squares to control, and then put some pressure on his outreached pawn there. And he played knight to c3, bringing his knights out and continuing his development. And I played h6 to prevent, of course, his knight from coming down. And he followed through with h3, doing the same. And I came through with queen to e7, bringing my queen out, giving my king a chance to castle and connect the rooks at the same time. And he followed with a3, and I followed with a6. And of course he's preventing me from coming down on his knight 5 square, and the same with me, keeping him off my knight 4 square. And he followed through with b4. So now he opens it up. So now we're, as you can see, good development and pretty decent on both sides here. And he decides to attack my bishop and force my bishop off b4 there. And so I retreated down to bishop to a7. And I didn't mind going down in the corner here because a lot of times players forget about this bishop, mistaking it for a pawn there. And also I still have control of this long diagonal, preventing and pinning his pawn against his king there. He played bishop to b2, finagling his queen's bishop, which is a perfectly good move there. And I follow through with g5, bringing up my pawn. Reason for this is that I was thinking a little ahead here. Perhaps I could maneuver my knight and finally get her my knight over to bishop 5 here, c5. And I'd have some pretty good control on his king side. Seeing how he finagled his bishop, he left this square a little bit weak there, but I have to maneuver myself to get there and do something about this pawn there. So that's what I was thinking at that point anyhow. And he played knight to h2. He retreated his knight to h2. Maybe he was just pulling off a temporary move here, or he's planning to occupy the b4 square there, or I'm sorry, yeah, the square there. And I decided to go ahead at this time and castle on the long queen side. Okay, connecting my rooks and getting my king over to safety, and preparing myself for a possible future king side onslaught with these rooks helping to mow down my enemy. Alrighty, he played bishop, he played pawn b5, attacking my knight. And I decided to go ahead and take his pawn, putting that to an end, and he went knight to b5. I didn't think he would move his pawn at this time. I thought he, for sure that he would bring his knight in to attack my bishop, and that was fine with me. I just played bishop to b6, and he followed through with queen to a4. Now, this move may look like he's really up to something here, but I, looking it over real quick, I didn't see any great threat there, because I'm going to move my king out of the way and put my rooks into play on both sides. So I played king to d7, moving my king to a little bit more safety there, and giving me the opportunity to chase his queen away if need be. So he decided to play knight to a7. Well, I didn't, that didn't worry me either. I saw that possibility coming. And I know I can't take him with my knight, so I just got to go ahead and whack him off with my bishop. And of course, he played bishop x knight check. And I just said, no problem. And I took him with my pawn. And then he scalped my bishop, which I knew that was coming too. But he put himself in a dangerous position here. His queen can easily be chased off, and give my rooks a little bit more play and more control of these squares, because his queen will have to retreat probably all the way back here. And so that was fine with me. And I also saw that once I chase his queen off, and if his queen should move to the knight 2 square here, my other rook would come down, and then he'd be lost. So I saw that, so the escape routes would be limited too, except for this square here. So I decided to go ahead and go bishop x h3. Took his pawn, putting some pressure on his king side and attacking his rook at the same time. He replied, of course, knight to g1, and I followed through with knight to g4, offering him a chance to exchange here. And if he didn't, well, then I'd have control of this escape square for his queen. So he played d4, seeing that I was blocking his queen in. So he played d4 to try to open things up a little bit. I played rook to a8, attacking his queen immediately, and all was lost. He had blocked himself in. So there was no escape for his queen. He played dx e5, and I followed through by taking his queen. And now he's really in a hurt, and he just pushed forward and played pawn a6 check. And I decided to go ahead and take the pawn with my queen, losing, of course, my rook to his bishop, which I knew was coming. And that didn't bother me too much. I went queen x2, threatening mate right here. And he followed through by going bishop to d4 to protect that square. I went rook to a3, knocking off his rook's pawn and attacking his knight's pawn. And I figured, well, he would exchange rooks here. And then I'd follow through with mate, of course, so he couldn't do that. But I thought at first he might have a chance there. But then I saw that there could be some possibilities here of really crushing him. I would take his other rook and force his king into a mate there. So he couldn't do that. So he couldn't follow through with rook x rook, because my queen would take his rook, and that would be check mate. Eventually his knight would move over to protect his king. My queen would take his knight, and it would be checkmate. So he played rook to b1, which was kind of hopeless, and I played rook to g3 check, and now he's in a bind. He's not going to get out of this, and at this point he resigned. As you can see here, if he should take the pawn, I would just play queen, x, knight, checkmate. So he couldn't do that. His other option would be to run. He runs away, and then I come through with, well, knight could take the pawn, calls check, his bishop comes down, takes me, I take his queen, eventually it's checkmate. But he is totally pinned into the corner. There's nothing much he can do here. I could play also queen to bishop 6 here, or 3, bishop 3 here, and checkmate his butt there. Even if his knight would come across and take me, I would eventually wear him down, I think. Or maybe not. No, that wouldn't be. I could go up here. I would go up here. Yeah. To this square. Got it, baby? Okay. And that's it. Another victory for the great Leno. All right. Okay, folks, have fun and enjoy the rest of your day.